Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, Halloween. Happy Halloween. Just here to vlog a little bit about some emotional eating I did yesterday. Yesterday was my daddy's 71st birthday. And I don't talk to my dad a whole lot. He's got a busy life raising my siblings' kids. And him and I, he's my stepfather, but it's just weird. Anyway, so I guess somebody told him that I lost a lot of weight, and my dad and I with weight is a big chunk of where my emotional eating stems from. The being on diet at 8 years old, him making my plates and teasing me about how much I'm allowed to eat, like putting 1 pea on my plate or 1 tablespoon of mashed potatoes. Anyway, it messes with the kid's head, and it has fucked me up for my entire life. Kid, adult, that's where my emotional eating comes from, and sneaking food, hugely sneaking food. Anyway, so I called him, I talked to him. I think I talked to him like 3 or 4 times a year. I wish I could talk to him more. I should talk to him more, but he started asking me what weight I started at, where I'm at now, and that he was proud of me, which was good to hear, but there's something in my subconscious mind that always knows the disapproval of my father's just hangs over my head. Anyway, I did fine for breakfast. I did fine for lunch. I didn't work out yesterday. I was feeling out of sorts. I don't know, the last couple Mondays I've been feeling out of sorts, and I always try and figure out the why behind it. My why yesterday was I knew I had to talk to my dad. And I was a little irritated that I didn't get to spend time with my fiance on the Monday, because my Mondays are going away and I have 8 left. And he has the last 2 months of the year he takes his Mondays off for PTO. So those are 2 things. They're silly. They're, you know, something we can make plans for the next Monday. But, you know, I went to a movie to try and get out of my own head. That worked for a couple hours. I went to Trader Joe's. My son recommended going there. I hadn't been there in years, but they have, you know, I thought they were going to be like weird food and overpriced food. It is a little bit more pricey than going to Sprouts, but they had a lot of cool options that Sprouts doesn't have, especially for meat. So thank you, Kyle Burkhart, for recommending Trader Joe's. I do think I'll be going back. The emotional eating was at night after I got done speaking with my father, and then my fiance came home, and I had a taco and a enchilada, which I'm not eating complex carbs. Rarely do I eat complex carbs, and those were extreme complex carbs. So that's kind of like falling off the wagon. So then I just opened up the Halloween chocolate candy and proceeded to eat. And this was at nighttime though. 10, 12 little chocolate candies. I haven't had chocolate in forever. I think another thing that my emotional eating stems from is I went to lunch with my beautiful best friends, Stacy, Lisa, and Jax, on Sunday, and Lisa and Jackie are seeing personal trainers, and their personal trainers have them on a very strict food plan, and Jackie's is she has to eat 5 times, and her food plan looks like something I would actually incorporate, which I'm actually going to, you know, like so many ounces of chicken with, you know, squash, and then she has high carb days and low carb days. I still haven't figured out the whole macros you're supposed to be on, if mixing it up is good, if eating 5 times a day is good. I'm more citing to the circadian fasting, where you eat for 9-hour period of the day. So like my 1,100 calories, I try and hit eating with that 9-hour day. because that's what our bodies were designed to do, than to eat 5 times a day. That would drive me bonkers. Lisa's trainer wants her to go on a ketosis diet, which I'm familiar with. I don't think a restricted diet like that would work for me. And I also don't think that not being able to have a reminder meal with carbs in it that will kick you out of ketosis is a good mental space to put me in. For her, if she's dedicated 100%, which she is very dedicated to her working out, so I can totally see her doing it. For me personally, no. And I think the fact that both of them were being put on restricted diets made me feel those old emotions that I used to have when my dad would put me on diet after diet after diet, starting from the age 8 up. Back then, I don't think he knew how much it would screw up his kid, but it really did, and I'm still dealing with it today. I've gone through a full thing of counseling. She said I was finished. This is just something that it doesn't ever go away, but you can think yourself out of it. Yesterday, I thought myself out of, I'd say 90% of it, but there is that 10% where I still go to food for comfort, and it's getting smaller and smaller, and I'm understanding it and getting ahead of it more and more, but it still gets me. And after 62 pounds lost, after 9 months, after all this counseling, I think that we just have to recognize our triggers, write them down immediately. If it means taking a break from life, to take an hour or 2 and just work out what's going on and then put yourself back on track. I think that's the important thing that I've learned this time. I'm hoping this gets easier. It continues to get easier. It is just a mess sometimes when you feel out of control with it. Even though you know what you're going to be doing, you're going to be going off track, you still allow it to happen. That's the frustrating part, because you've worked all week so freaking hard. You know, I'm doing HIIT training now. It's only 20 minutes, but if any of you out there have ever tried to do HIIT training, it is like the hardest thing physically I've ever had to do. And I have it planned out where I'm doing it 3 or 4 times a week. It's supposed to be the best way to lean yourself down. Zumba for me has turned into where my body just it doesn't really get a lot of benefit out of it anymore, other than getting my heart rate up enough to sweat. It is not helping me lean down at all. Brian and I do bike rides twice a week. We're trying to acclimate ourselves up to 10 miles. We're at 7. I love him, but I know I could do 10. He's still working on his cardio, starting his own program. So I'm doing 7 with him, for him. So I push him, trust me. And, you know, this whole, those out there who know that what the emotional part does to you, you know, be nice to yourselves. Don't take this as a failure and quit. That's the most important message I can give you. Take this as a message that you need to give yourself that hour or 2 hours alone with a notepad or with your phone, like I'm doing right now, and record yourself. It's very important that you get out the emotional part. My emotional part was being restricted by my father, just being restricted in general with food. I get very defiant and very, very strong-headed. Stubborn is not even a strong enough word. And when you realize what your triggers were and you talk them out, it'll make you stronger for next time. And And that's all I want to pass on to you guys. Just keep your strength, keep your head about you, write it down, vlog it, and keep pushing through. It's losing weight's kind of like going to war on your fat, and your fat doesn't give a fuck. You have to, and only you. So find your friends, your support system, but remember, 100% you are your own support. Believe in yourself, change that voice in your head, and keep pushing through even when you have a stumble or a trip. Happy Halloween, everybody. Have a fun and safe evening, and I will talk to you later.